Welcome to Looking Good Yeah with Daniela, a show featuring fashion, creatives, and artisans, people who do it all despite it all. I'm Daniela Platt. With 20 years of building media campaigns and publicity for fashion and lifestyle brands, today, as a vibrant ball of energy, I'm a known creative producer, business development warrior, and mom. My mission is to share these inspiring stories of creatives, artisans, and purpose-driven entrepreneurs. I want you to be able to take your art and your heart and share it with the world. Their stories, they are not for me to keep when they can empower you to achieve and be your absolute best, when they can bring out the inner you. So I hope you can come along with me. You're looking good, you as you are. Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness, it is so fun. Summer is I guess we're saying bye to summer. Hello, fall. Here we are. We are back with the Looking Good Yeah podcast. I'm Daniela Platt. This is a lifestyle and fashion podcast featuring inspiring voices, creatives and artists, makers, people who do it all despite it all. Yaya is the name of our company, Looking Good Yaya. And we came up with the name Yaya because it stands for You Are Looking Good, You as You Are. We came up with that name because this whole purpose is to empower people to take your art, to take your heart, to take your message from above the keyboard into the street, to truly be your best self. Creativity, it is all heart. I am a creative producer and fashion and lifestyle business strategist, hearing stories from incredible innovators and makers around the world. It is my fuel, but better than fuel for me is being a storyteller and sharing these incredible stories and visionaries with the world. And that is what we are here to do. So I'm very excited about today's show as we kick off the fall. We are here today with Edit Kiss and Zimmaron Zsido. And the theme of today is, how to find your release to be your best, most creative self. I'm going to introduce you guys in 1 second. I'll just read your little bios here. So we have here Edit Kiss, who I've known because we both are co-authors in The One Habit for Entrepreneurial Success. And it's been quite a journey, getting to know you through that book. So Edith, she is a holistic mentor, writer, best-selling author, international speaker. She helps leaders get healed from what she calls the running mind, insomnia to gain more focus and fill the void in their hearts by helping people raise their frequency and align with their true self. We are also here with Zimmaron Zsido, and you are a motivational speaker. You have an incredible story, breakthrough specialist, business strategist. You spent 25 years living in and out of ashrams, which sounds really fun. You have pilgrimages and events all around the world. You've been training spiritual masters, shamans, psychologists, healers everywhere. And you're also a wildly successful business entrepreneur. So I'm so glad you guys are here today to talk to us about what it is that you do. How can people release their trauma, live their most incredible life, and how do they go about doing it? So I like to keep things kind of casual, and that way we kind of have the greatest conversation going forward. So first and foremost, I'm going to turn it over to you guys, and I don't know who wants to go first between the two of you, but let's just start with, what is your story? Where are you from? What do you do now?
Yeah, so I am Edit B. I'm originally from Hungary, and growing up in the communist environment, and just living for, without religion, without any religion's background. I had to find myself the spirituality. I had to find myself the connection to my higher self, and then to also to see the multidimensional existence of myself. And it started with having panic attacks. I had illnesses and panic attacks, and then I was looking for a solution besides any medicine. So that's how I got into energy healing and Reiki and spiritual healings. And that's when I actually find later karma yoga, and that's what I actually use with my clients to heal emotional traumas, because the emotional traumas are deeply buried in our unconscious mind, which is not easy to reach. So we need special techniques to bring the mind there and actually release the traumas from there.
Yeah, and thank you for having us, Daniela. For me, I grew up in Australia. My parents are Hungarian as well, so I actually share the same cultural background as Edith does. And I grew up with a lot of trauma, a lot of difficulties in my childhood. Had a lot of health issues, chronic fatigue. I used to have migraine headaches. I used to have all sorts of different ailments and conditions. And eventually that led me to alternative medicine because conventional medicine couldn't help me. And when I found out and discovered alternative medicine, which did help and alleviate a lot of my symptoms, that opened me up to a lot of alternative spiritual concepts. And eventually I decided to let go of the conventional world and the conventional corporate work environment that I was involved in. I was hauling cable and doing all sorts of stuff for cable in the cable TV industry. And I got a payout and I went and started traveling the world. And I was convinced that what we understand our reality and our life to be is not what it really is, and that there has to be more to life than what we see with our physical eyes and ears and what we experience. And so I went on a lifelong quest to discover the truth. And that's what I did. And I ended up all over the world, producing pilgrimages, living in and out of ashrams, and training with some of the best in the world. And as Edith shared, the key to releasing trauma and any condition in the body is to acknowledge the emotional body. It's the one last bastion that people and humanity are refusing to do, which is feel the emotions that we have inside of us. We've got the mental aspect now. We understand neuroscience and neurology. We understand the physical body and how we need to eat better and all of those sort of things. We understand spirituality to a certain degree as far as meditating and connecting with our higher selves. But the emotional body is what people avoid the most.
Well, I'm going to actually have to ask you. So it sounds like you both came to breaking points. You both came from like a completely different career and you had a breaking point, and then you completely pivoted into wellness and understanding your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, your subconscious. Was there a specific breaking point that said to you, I cannot live this way anymore, that I'm going to change my life and teach the world a different way as well? Like, what was that breaking point that told you, I'm going to change the world?
Well, for me, first was, I'm going to quit the world. So first I was a quitter. So I just left my job, and then I packed up the family and went to New Zealand for 7 months. And but then we returned. But when we returned, it was a completely different life from go on. So it was like I got out of the box. I was living in an engineering box. I was living like in a corporate box. And as soon as I left that, and then I came back, I became a contractor, and then I did a completely different life, which was actually I lived on my own terms. That's the point. So you don't anymore be in that cycle, like working from 9 to 5. You live on your own terms, and it's changing you, is opening you up, is giving you a different perspective. It's like you realize what else is out there. And then so that's when I started to opening up for new opportunities, possibilities, see the world in a different way. And then when I get to learn the karma yoga, that was when I get into the karma vortex and start suddenly opening my third eye. It was like messaging like coming to me, and like, when you're picking up the breadcrumbs of the universe, that's what started to happen. Like I started to see a completely different path. I started to, and because it's brought me also huge success in my health, in labeling of my health, that's when I decided, I have to show this to others. I have to do this with others because it's healed me. It's like, wow, I'm not suffering anymore. I'm healthy because I did those techniques. I use those techniques. So the karma healing was for me like the aha moment, that and then I was ready for that because I was already out of the system, so I was ready to actually go after that, and then embody that, like I want to show that to people and I want to heal others. Yeah.
Wow, that's so powerful.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I've been doing this since I was 18 years of age. But, you know, most of it was through traveling the world, and I was always behind the scenes. You know, I was producing events, I was with different shaman and spiritual masters and so forth. So for me, it was just always it became a part of my life, because once I healed my chronic fatigue and I healed a lot of the different ailments that I was suffering with as a child, it was just who I was and who I am. And now, as far as, you know, doing this event with Edith and, you know, and starting to share this with the world, it's just a mission. It's just what I have to do. It's my obligation. You know, I've discovered the secrets of the universe that work for me. So if I can share that with anybody else, and I can help, you know, even just one other person, that's what fulfills me, and that's what makes me happy.
Okay, you guys are talking about some super heavy and complicated things. You're talking about healing the world, healing the universe, the third eye, and you have an event coming up. So I would love it if you guys can share to those people, to the creatives, artisans, makers, to entrepreneurs out there, just share with them like a few things that they could implement today to be able to kind of tap into their mindset. Just share with us a little bit. You guys talk about the unconscious and the subconscious. Like, what are a few things that people can sort of do today to implement into their daily lives? And then, of course, I want you to talk a little bit more about your event as well that's coming up that you just mentioned about.
What is the easiest to implement actually is affirmations and gratitude into the everyday life when you wake up or before you go asleep, because that's when you are the closest to your subconscious, and then the habits, beliefs are stored in your subconscious mind. So that's the easiest to implement, to start to have positive affirmations about yourself and about your life. And for example, I feel good, I feel powerful, I feel amazing, I feel like I can change the world today, you know, like these kind of things which empower you for the day. And then also in the evenings, saying gratitude, like I'm grateful for even the food, even for my clothes, you know, my house, even for my bed, you know, to grateful for the little things, to appreciate every little things what you actually have. And then that already brings you a higher vibration into your body, and then a higher level of self-esteem, which can actually bring in more positive things into your life. So that's the easiest way to start. And then to actually, for the healing, is to let go is very powerful. When you let go certain things, when you let go pain, when you let go, like when you were betrayed or by someone, you know, and then you hold some anger, or you hold some feeling of like someone is unsupporting you, or you feel like you don't trust that person anymore. So when you have certain anger towards someone or hate, then if you let go of that and then you can forgive, that's very powerful. That's very powerful.
Oh my gosh, that is so hard to do. I do that every day in the car. I try to say with my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old, let's say our I am statements, like they're little, so I am gonna have fun, I am enough. But I feel like by the time they get to school, that drive between the house and car line, they've woken up and they're powered up. I think it's really great. Zimmaron, what are some suggestions that you have for people to really sort of, this is very heavy and it's very powerful. The mind is a very complicated thing, and reprogramming your brain to be able to achieve what you want is really powerful. What are a few things that you think people can implement into their life?
Well, I agree with Edith. Gratitude is the highest form of prayer. And the reason for that is very simple, because when you're grateful, you acknowledge the perfection of everything that you're creating in your life, because you are the master creator in your life. You are literally an expression of God. And so everything that you experience in your life is 100% happening to you and for you. So everything that happens is a gift and a blessing. And if you receive the gift, then you'll get the blessing as well. So one of the most powerful and conscious ways to live is to look at everything that's happening in your life and say, okay, if this triggers a certain negative response to me, well, why am I creating that? What is it showing me about myself? What is it that I can glean? What's the lesson that I can get from this circumstance or situation that I've created in my life? And when you understand and you get the lesson and the gift of it, as I said, you'll get the blessing. And one of the blessings is usually that you won't need to recreate the same cycle of circumstance or situation in your life. Like, you know, there's certain groups of people that create bad relationships and they're just constantly creating bad relationships. Well, you're creating that because not everyone on the planet has bad relationships. So why are you creating having bad relationships or a bad job or this circumstance or financial issues and things like that? And the key to that is to acknowledge the emotion behind it, because emotion is energy in motion. If that energy is not being moved, it will cause blocks. It causes mental health issues, anxiety, depression. It causes all sorts of problems that we're seeing in modern society today.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen any examples of people having like this incredible transformation?
Yeah, I mean, people have it all the time, but it requires courage. It requires honesty. It requires being accountable for your life and for your creation in your reality, because who has the power to change your life? The only one person that has the power to change your life, and that is you. Nobody else can. And as soon as you give that power to somebody else, you're a victim. And you no longer have that power, and you're not even giving yourself the opportunity to create the changes that you deserve in your life and to live the life that you were meant to live and were born to live on this planet. We're supposed to live in love. That's our natural state. So any other emotion that is non-loving was introduced into our ecosystem in one way, shape, or form, either in the present or in the past. Usually it's the past that's getting triggered in the moment. And that's why two people can have the same experiences and one might react angrily and the other person might laugh it off. It's just because of our past trauma and the past ways in which we experienced and received and allowed the trauma into our lives.
That is so powerful. And it is true. We inherently are born with greatness, and then the rest of it is our environment and the ecosystem. But you can get back to the core, and with your work, we can help reprogram our brains to live the best life. Okay, you guys have come together, and I'm not sure how you know one another. So I'd love to know, how do you know one another? You have an event coming up. What's the big idea, and why now? Why is, what's going on? You have a big event. Why now? What's the big idea?
So I would take that. So we met through Facebook, actually. I have seen his videos and I found it fascinating how he's actually talking about everything he went through and then all the ideas and all the universe and everything. So when I started to communicate with Zimmaron, I started to already feel that we could have some great work together, because he's sharing similar ideas. He's like-minded with me. And I felt like we could do something great, we could impact a lot of people together. So then I started to channel this event. Actually, I was just being on a mentorship, a 5 days mentorship with a mentor, and then during this mentorship I started to channel this idea about this show, the Release with These work show, and I already seen like how he could actually get into that show and bring in his way of explanation, about the world and how much that could mean to other people. So when I've seen this, I shared with him this idea, and then he said yes, of course he's coming and help me out, and of course helping people with his teaching. So and then I created the show that I was channeling the show because but I realized that there are some workshops out there. There are some people who's teaching people how to heal, or how to get healed, or there are some sessions going on, maybe group sessions, but they are usually courses, when they got certificate, or which is like a bit deeper, like more days. So I haven't really found anything which is similar to this, what we create, or what I actually channeled, because I don't just bring the emotional trauma release, but I bring in also guest speakers and entertainers. I also want to bring in artists, like actors, actresses, who's actually saying a fable, and also bringing in some lessons by that and sharing their own experiences. And also I would love to bring in some networking, and then some subconscious exercises with the audience, and then have some questioning, answering, some interaction with them. And then finally, of course, to do the release with the karma yogi technique, the source memory healing in a group environment, in a guided way. And I also would love to have it like a whole experience, and this came into me so powerfully that I've seen it all happening, and I believe that this could help people a lot, and not just the audience who's going to be there in the physical place. I would love to share it online with even more people, because this is similar, like when you go into one session, for example, but the difference is that here some people is afraid to share, their traumas. And then in this environment, they don't need to share. They can go through the whole release process in themselves without sharing it. That's one point. And the second is that the whole vibration, what's going to happen there with so many people is releasing together, and networking and experiencing this together. It can bring together people to have good friendships, and also to connect with each other in their loneliness or in their suffers, because what we experience now during this awakening time on earth is that many people are experiencing loneliness, and many people is looking for some companionship, like-minded people, because they're losing friends, they're losing family members because of the different vibrations, and it could bring an environment when people can actually find themselves and find like-minded people.
Okay, I mean, it's definitely the right time. Zimmaron, how are you coming along with this event that you have upcoming?
I'm very excited. This was Edith's vision, and she articulated really well. The whole intention behind it is to create a full experience, and something that's practical, something that's tangible, and to give people an actual healing experience as well. So we're not just going to feed people's minds. We're going to we're going to work on the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual, all 4 levels of a person's existence. And, what I'm going to be facilitating during it, besides giving a particular talk, is I'm going to take people through a reclaiming session and help people reclaim themselves and help them reconnect to their superconscious, their I am presence, their higher selves, and work with them on releasing the agreements that are in place because of what we have on planet Earth here, which is free will. So our higher selves and our super consciousness cannot override our free will unless we give it permission to do so. And who would you rather have in your court than your higher self, or your super consciousness, your God self, intervening on your behalf and helping you along with your life, and giving you, more of those not so subtle nudges and guidance and things like that a lot of us don't have, because we're so disconnected from who we truly are and who we were born to be on this planet.
Oh my gosh, if I were there in the room, which I might be, I would be crying, like watching people have these incredible breakthroughs in their life. You were talking, and I think, Edith, you were talking to me about this, and Zimmaron, I'm not sure if this is your area of expertise as well, But we were kind of talking about the subconscious mind as well as the unconscious mind. I didn't, I'm not an expert like you guys are in this field, and you were sharing kind of what the differences are. I would love if you could just kind of take a moment and explain how going into your releasing from your unconscious mind is different than your subconscious mind.
Yes, so by my experience and by my learnings is that the subconscious is actually holding your beliefs, what you created yourself or what you actually get from your environment, from your parents, the belief system, and is also holding your habits, your fears, your memories is in the subconscious. So the subconscious is what usually people say like, you reprogram your subconscious, your subconscious. So that's what you can do by repetition. That's what you can do consciously, doing the affirmations, consciously doing like activities like for 30 days, 90 days repetition, and then it's going to change your beliefs, or it's going to change your mindset. This is where the mindset programming is happening in subconscious level, and that's actually how you can overcome fear. That's, for example, the neuro-linguistic programming is doing as well, actually changing your fears. And so the unconscious is just a couple of percentage of the subconscious, which holding the abuse, the shame, the guilt, the grief, and like this, and the heartbreak. So it's like is mostly connected with your heart chakra and with your sacral chakra, and those are things like those are emotions, and those are memories which are deeply buried in the unconscious. Those you can't change with repetition or with reprogramming. Like you need to release those from the unconscious to actually not to trigger it anymore. So when you have buried negative emotions and buried traumas from abuse, or you've experienced this shame and guilt, those can trigger also, because it's buried in the unconscious, it's still there. It's not, if it's not released, they're still there, then you actually trigger the same experiences over and over again. So for example, I have clients who said, I was abused when I was a child, and then I'm always getting into abusing relationships. And then that's when we go back and we actually reach the unconscious, and then we go back to that memory, and then we release it. That's gonna stop the trigger. That's gonna stop attracting the same learnings, because it was released. So that's how it works actually.
That is so fascinating. We kind of have to study this. So to take it one step further, and I know, Edith, you have children. I'm not sure, Zimmaron, if you're
no children.
No children. So I call it the C word. If we could talk about confidence for a second. As a mom, I pray every day that my girls are confident in their own skin, and that they're fearless, that they're looking for their yes all the time. What advice do you have out there for moms, dads, parents overall to be able to like have that release, to be a better parent, and also to raise children that don't go through these traumas? Like how can we raise balanced, confident children using your area of expertise? I would love to know.
Well, it always comes down to love them unconditionally. Unconditional love is the cure to every single problem on the planet, because the word unconditional means without conditions. And that is to give the child the freedom to be who they truly are. Allow them to express themselves. Don't repress them. Allow them to feel their emotions. How many kids are pacified, as a child, and, boys don't cry, and please don't cry, and blah, 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 blah. All of those things all create imprints. They all create blockages in a child, and it all starts contributing to trauma. So the best thing that a parent can do is to do their best to just be unconditional. Allow the child to discover what works for them and what is right for them within a set of healthy boundaries, okay? Because a child does need boundaries to be healthy. So it doesn't mean let the child run amok, but, treat them like a small adult. explain things to them. When you reprimand them, explain why you're reprimanding them, educate them as to what their actions, what are the repercussions of the actions that they're doing, how will it affect their lives, and how does it affect the lives of other people or whatever else. A lot of people talk down to children like they are unconscious, and they're not. Children are very, very conscious and very, very aware. And if we treated them more like little adults rather than as little children, they would respond so much better and would grow up in such a more healthier and conscious way than a lot of people are experiencing these days.
That's great advice. Unconditional, and let them just be free to be themselves. That's really good advice. Edith, what about you?
Yeah, so what came to me is the 6 human needs. So even if they are children, they have their 6 human needs. So we have to give them the possibility to contribute, to feel significant, to have the connection and love, and also the place to grow, and also to actually to feel that they are acknowledged, because that's what many times creating the traumas, that we don't give permission to them to have an opinion, like me, for example, with my children, I treat them like that, like I always need their help, like, oh, what do you recommend, at this situation, or how would you help me with this, or that's what they feel significant. They feel that they're contributing, and then the other hand, of course, I'm grateful for them. I love them. I hug them daily, when I'm around them, and then I tell them I love you. And so I am there for them, they know that I'm there for them. So whatever they need to discuss, or whenever they they ever have some doubts, they know they can turn to me because I'm listening. So I think that's the most important, to give them the chance to contribute, to feel significant, and to grow, and to feel the love. Yes.
Okay, I love that idea. And I'm constantly asking my girls to let them make their own decisions, like whether it's for dinner or something really simple. But I do agree with you on including them and having them make the decisions helps raise their confidence.
Yes.
So I also am curious. So most of my career has been, this show and artisans, creatives, makers. How can they delve into themselves so they truly understand what you're saying is, if you can release their trauma and things in their past, imagine the creativity that will come to them as artisans, creatives, makers. Any advice, words of wisdom you can leave with them?
Creativeness is next to godliness. And it's
I love
true
how holy.
because if you look at the creator, as people call God and the higher self and higher power, creativity is an expression of someone's divine self. So, letting go of your trauma is going to allow you to tap into more of that creativity. And unfortunately, so many artists and artisans and so forth have, in some cases, so devalue what they have to offer, or they even hoard it and hide it from people because they're ashamed of it, or society has said, well, this is not that valuable and everything like that. I'm really into NFTs right now with cryptocurrencies and things like that. And my dad's an artist. He's a brilliant artist, but he doesn't believe he is, and his artwork should be in museums. So this work of working on yourself and connecting with yourself and releasing your emotional trauma, the emotions are the keystone in the dam. So when you release your emotional trauma, you will only find even more self-expression and more honesty and more authenticity in who you are and what you're putting out into the world. So it's a win-win.
Oh my gosh, so fascinating. Okay, so I know, Edith, you have a book coming up. Zimmaron, I want to kind of ask you guys what else is going on, what's next for you guys? Edith, I know you have a book. Zimmaron, what's going on? What's next?
For me, I am starting to do these reclaiming sessions So I'm going to be doing that online, through live events. I do all of that, just as a part of service, because I want to have as many people possible go through and be able to reconnect with who they truly are and their higher selves, and allow that to become the mainstay of their lives. I am in the process of writing a book. I have some courses that I'm going to be releasing as well. And I'm just very excited for this event and to work with Edith. Yeah.
Awesome. When is the event again? I'll let you guys share it.
Yeah, it's 13th of November. It's a Saturday.
Okay.
So we still have like 8 weeks.
Okay. It's a one-day event?
Yeah, it's an afternoon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles?
Yes, Los Angeles. We don't have yet the exact event place. I'm still looking for the spot. And so 13th of November.
Okay, and you're gonna also broadcast it on Zoom so people can kind of
so it's definitely gonna go online, because we want to impact more people. So it's not just for people who live in Los Angeles or in the around areas and driving in. It's also for people who are in Europe or other side of the country or the world. Yeah. Okay,
cool. And you have a book coming out. Share about that for a second.
So the book is gonna be also a gift at the event. So the book is a life coaching book for people who feels like they are like a light worker, or they are a healer. So who actually, already when you're healing yourself, you are a healer, or you healing your family, or you healing your environment, you are a healer. So anyone who already stepping into feeling this power, so stepping into the power of feeling as a light worker, or experiencing like channeling, experiencing this energy, experiencing that they want to heal themselves and want to heal others, then I recommend them this book, because this book gonna help them to actually break down some obstacles, and then also to encourage them to go on this way. And then also I give them some guidance, like how to protect themselves during this journey. So it's a very useful book. I actually talked with lots of light workers, and then I experienced where they're lacking or what is their issues, and that's how I came up with the book. That's what inspired me to write the book, because I felt like I want to help them to not getting into that struggle again. So that's how it came live.
Oh my gosh, you're such a giver and healer, both of you, givers and healers. Okay, so any last words of wisdom, and where can people find each one of you, find out about your event? And I will post it in the comments as well.
Yeah, so the event is on Eventbrite, so you can actually find it on Eventbrite and then book the ticket. I also have a website, it's editbkissismyname.com, where people can find my programs. I have 8 weeks programs for women and men separately, to raising the vibration and be more successful in your life. That's it, editbkiss.com.
Okay, great. An Eventbrite for the actual event called,
yes.
What do you call it again? It's not raise your vibration, it's
release with ease workshop.
Okay, great. And Zimmaron, where can people find you? Any last words of wisdom that you want people to know?
Yeah, well, people can find me at Zimmaron.com, Zimmaron.com, or just search for me online. You'll find me. I'm the only person with that name. And the last words of wisdom is to love yourself. Choose love. That's all that matters in the world today. Right now we're seeing a lot of division, a lot of separation that's being perpetuated, and now's the time more than ever for us to come together. We are human beings sharing this same one planet. It doesn't matter what people choose or do not choose. Love people unconditionally, and everything else will work itself out. It's a foolproof system, and it works.
Holy, holy words. Choose unconditional love. Thank you so much for those words. All right, you guys. So I'm just going to close out here. I'm going to say thank you to everybody who's listening, and we will be posting this on Spotify, iTunes, and getting this out to everybody in our audience. So I am Daniela Platt, creative producer and fashion and lifestyle brand strategist. I am here to take people's stories, your art, your heart into the world. So if I can help you with PR, please do reach out. It is my favorite thing in the world to do, not just to hear your stories, but to share it with the world. The business of fashion, building a fashion brand, building a lifestyle brand, it can be really complex. It can also be really within your reach. I do have a book. I have a master class. You can grab it all, and you can also find me as well. The website is daniela.today. These are tools and skills that I've had for the last 15 years. They are not for me to keep when they can help you achieve. I want everybody to have their art and heart, your art and your heart. I want you to be seen and have it in the world. Thank you so much. Again, my website is daniela.today. I look forward to seeing you. And again, thank you so much, Edith and Zimmaron. I am super excited for the work that you're doing, and to help people just really honor their hearts and truly grow and the world, heal the world. The world needs what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Daniela. Thank you.
What a treat to hear these great stories, and it is even better that I get to share them with you. Come along with me at Daniela R. Platt on Instagram. What is your story that you'd like to share? Do you have an event coming up? If you're looking for exposure for your brand, or you're interested in taking your idea for a fashion and lifestyle product, whether you came up with it on a kitchen table or in the boardroom, you want to bring it to market. If you're looking to create t-shirts or merch for your company, I'd love to consult with you and hear your story. You can find my book and my masterclass, Looking Good, How to Be a Sales Rockstar and Fashion Startup Playbook on Amazon. For everything else, including my free guide on how to break into the business of fashion, find it at www.daniela.today. This is Looking Good, Yeah, with Daniela Platt. You are looking good, you as you are.